Okay, you've joined part 4 of The Last Bomb. The Last Bomb was a propaganda film made actually by Warner Brothers, but it was promoted through the Office of War, the War Department. And it is supposedly about an intensive bombing campaign on Japan before the big bomb that was dropped, the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. So it's called The Last Bomb because supposedly that's the last regular type bombing that was done before, I think, the big bomb hoax of Hiroshima and the atomic bomb hoax. So sit back in your seat and enjoy the theater, because remember, war is theater. You're in the Pacific Theater. Of course, all the sound is added. Make you feel like you're there. Make you feel like you're the plane now that's shooting that one down. Cause it to burst into flames. You can't have a good shoot down unless it bursts into flames. That same clip has been used several times right there. Feeling like you're right up there with them, right? With the sounds. Mostly it's the sounds that are doing it to you. What was that, a bailout, huh? Who is it, friend or foe? Or just some dummy? Or some miniature? When I was growing up, we had miniatures. We had a parachute and a little soldier light, and you threw it up in the air, and he'd come out and he'd come down like just like that. That gives you a feeling like your plane got twisted on its side. All studio work and special effects.
With the big bombers homeward bound, our P-51s drop down for strafing runs, concentrating on definite objectives from here to the enemy coast. Skimming along at maximum speed, the fighters pair off and go to work cutting vital jet life.
Now, if you follow the statistics, the speed of the P-51 was supposedly about 400 miles per hour. I don't know if it really was that fast or not, but anyhow, that's kind of what they put out on their statistical page. So the P-51s now are going to use like rocket shells and big bombs. Now remember, they can hold up to about 1,800 pounds of bombs, supposedly, but they're just rubber. I showed you in that other video. They slowed it up. It's in this propaganda film.
Marshalling yards, small suburban factories.
So the P-51s are now turning into these monstrous killers. They're not just escorts. They have all this machine gun power, rocket power, and about 1,800 pounds of bombs. Right. They're rubber. to be done. They're just shooting stuff off from the ground, that's all. But you think it's coming from the plane. If it is actual footage of something. Now that's definitely a miniature there. Notice how they blur the camera to make you feel like it's actually happening. Supposedly those are factories in Japan. Most likely just miniature sets, Warner Brothers Studio, or that special studio up in Laurel Canyon, up where the Hollywood sign is. There's a filming studio up there, secretive filming studio. Filmed the atomic bomb hoax.
And airfields.
Looks like they're setting stuff off underneath the planes. That could have been an actual plane filming, but it's just controlled demolition on the ground. Looks like miniatures to me. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish between is it miniatures or is it some type of actual footage.
Freighters, fishermen, trawlers.
Now that could be done by just setting off charges all in the sand.
Destroyer or lugger, it's the same enemy.
Remember, it's controlled demolition, like Dave said. Controlled, meaning you're being manipulated by what you see and what you think you're seeing. It's just manipulation of the mind. You know for sure that the sound is added. Now it's possible that they can set stuff off on the ships and reverse it, make you think it's coming from the plane.
With the first sight of evil, fuel gauges are down close to empty. But fighters' spirits begin to rise.
Spirits.
They wind up and finish with a kick, coming past Suribachi at whiplash speed, and zoom into their victory wounds. Once over for each Jap kill.
So you're supposed to get real excited because you killed people, right? You know that's against human nature. I remember reading once that now this is the film that I did and I slowed it up. That's the first B-51 Mustang coming in. Everything is fine and dandy. Now the next one is the one, I'm not going to slow it up because I already did it, but the next one is the one where the rubber bomb falls off. Watch it real quickly. It falls off and bounces around. There it goes. Did you see it? Why is nobody upset? Because it's rubber.
After the last fighter groups are in, all hands sweat in those first limping B-29s. That runway is a beautiful sight. As they let down.
And now they're going to hoax a disaster.
Low in gas.
Just like
or beat up by flak.
About 75% of the news, they hoax disasters.
In 3 months, nearly 2,000 crippled or gas-shy B-29s havened at Iwo. You can understand why those poor fanboys blessed those Marines and even named their planes after them. The lucky ones are fueled and depart for home bases in an hour. But EWO still has its hazards. Weather can turn this station into a hopeless daymare. Fog and quick overcast often blacks out the airstrip during these crucial periods.
Hey, here comes a hoax
That
that's
means
been
orders
repeated
to bail
recently.
out.
There's that lonely guy, and there's your hoax.
Might drop in for a copybook ditch.
On the Hudson, Solly something or other, Sullenberger, who did this on the Hudson River. Now look at the one guy down there looking back at the camera because he knows it's all a hoax. But they're all told not to look at the camera. There's your jet on the Hudson River with Sully Sullenberger. Nothing's new under the sun.
Sometimes a battle-scarred bomber staggers back to EWO, only to flatten out at the last heartbreaking
That
second.
looks like studio there. Get ready for another hoax. They gotta hoax things, make it look dramatic. That explosion came off from behind it. It was not the plane. I repeat, not the plane. That's all controlled demolition, controlled fire, controlled hoax crash. Just like all your news stories, controlled hoaxes.
Stations to safety before 2,000 gallons of flaming gas enveloped them. Firefighters risk their lives to save the ship.
There's no risk.
This too takes courage beyond
There's a
the line
smoke
of view.
machine back there.
Far to the south, most of the
All right,
wings
let's
are
get in
nearing
some
their
joyful
bases.
music now.
Exhausted crews wait out the last endless hour. When time
Hey, let's
seems
play
to
some
stop.
more poker up here.
Their position is radioed in. And the controller gets word of the approaching flight.
The controllers. Society has controllers. They control what you call World War II.
At last, the familiar Arianas appear on the horizon. The bombers fly across Guam and turn into the landing pattern. Ago, they left the other end of that runway.
All right, let's get in our little
A pleasure to
joyful
roll on
music to
solid,
wrap this all
familiar
up.
blacktop.
The Allies bombed the hell out of Japan. Oh, let's feel so good. Now, if it were REAL, would you really feel good about killing people, and especially innocent people, civilians? Oh, back to what I was saying about the survey done among military folks. The survey basically said that about 75%
to be among the living, swapping
of those
details
in the
with
military could not
fighters.
take a
The
gun
close call.
and actually
The one
shoot
that
and
got
kill
away.
someone else. Now, I'm not sure the source of that,
But
and
some
you
of
might
those
want to question
B-29
it,
crews
you might
won't
want to
be
fight
able
it,
to
that's
truck
okay,
over
I don't
there.
care.
11 men and a bomber.
I will say this to you.
Didn't quite
it is against human nature to want to take a gun and point blank and shoot and kill someone for any reason. Any reason. This is what you see on the news every day. Hoax, hoax, hoax. Just a bunch of junk they set on fire to make you think there was a crash. That's what you see. Look at them. They had a lot of fun making this, spraying that crap all over themselves, like Frosty the Snowman.
The rescue squad's terrible.
Oh yeah, it's a rescue.
Somehow in that burning wreck, man has lived to feel
miraculously. How about that? It's always miraculously.
And 10 lost.
Look at that. Keep your head down, dude. Don't look up. If you do, people will realize it's a hoax. He doesn't have his shoes on. Why doesn't he have his shoes on if he was in an airplane? What'd he do? Take his shoes off?
Days and nights that took their toll of young American lives in the service of our relentless
controlled burning.
Air power.
Dave's controlled demolition. How about controlled burning? I hope you're listening, Dave.
By the end of July, our B-29s had all
I'm getting silly about it.
The enemy's ability to make war.
The ability to make war. Well, it's real simple to make war. You just do a bunch of stupid propaganda.
Was, how much longer would a beaten Japan hold out?
Let's get into the atomic hoax next.
Was applied to Germany. While great land, sea, and air forces gathered for the last invasion, our B-29s dropped 2 atomic bombs.
Oh, there it is! The big one! Wow!
Which hastened the surrender of Japan.
Be so happy we dropped the atomic bombs
of American lives.
Oh, be so happy. Yes. Be so happy you have good hoaxers who love to hoax the world.
So the
make you
mission
feel
of our
good.
Forces, which began nearly 4 years ago, was accomplished.
All right. Can't you feel really great? Well, listen, folks, it's not the end. Now, why is it not the end? Because war is perpetual. In one of my videos that really got a lot of hits was called the 80-year war cycle. And if you haven't seen it, I suggest you go to it. It was the very first video I ever made, and it is on the channel War Backwards is Raw. I would like to thank you for watching, and if you got through this series and you made it and you see this, the end, you get extra points because most people like to watch a video for just a few minutes and then go on to something else. So I would like to thank you if you made it to this point. End of video and end of series.